Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in our Highmark webinar. We have a lot of exciting news, and we're excited to offer this webinar to you to talk about some of the third quarter and fourth quarter changes, very positive changes, and also kind of a peek into what we might expect for 2019. My name is Deb Wilkinson. I'm the Vice President of the Health Plan Options Department at URL, and my duties include overseeing the traditional group markets, the self-insured, the employee benefits portion, whether it's employer paid or voluntary, of course, the short-term market, and as I always like to say, what's left of the individual market in the state of Pennsylvania. So those are my duties, but I'm not the only one here at URL, and I would be remiss if I did not do a short URL commercial for those of you that are new to URL, and talk about some of our other services. So just quickly, we are made up of multi-departments. We have the Annuity Solutions Department, which is run by our Senior VP, Joe Corio. And of course, they've had a lot of success because of, the retirements and the 401ks, kind of rolling those funds into a much more secure sort of platform. But there's a lot of unique opportunities that Joe's offering with college planning solutions. So if you have, a client base that you think could benefit from talking with Joe and finding those revenue dollars, I would encourage you to reach out to him because, again, they do have those unique programs, marketing programs going on. Life Markets is run by Steve Clemens, and, again, they have a lot of your traditional type of life products as well as proprietary life products, but they've seen great success not only just because of the life products, but certainly because of the senior markets and those booms, those baby boomers. The final expense market goes hand in hand with the Medicare market. So many of our Medicare producers have seen a lot of success in the life markets as well. And of course, Medicare offerings, that's run by the co-directors, Christy Wilbert and Kerri McKeown. Obviously, if you're not in the senior market, I would encourage you as much as I can to tap into these young ladies. They have a lot of marketing opportunities, and it's certainly, pun intended, a booming market. Again, it's a lucrative market, and it also not only goes hand in hand with the life markets, but certainly the health markets. Whether you're in group or individual, it's a nice complement. So again, if you are looking for different ways of building your revenue, also they have programs, the Medicare Offerings Department has programs that are specific for group health producers that can look at that group health market and look at where there may be Medicare opportunities within the group. So again, reach out to these fine folks if you want to learn more about some of our other departments, or if you want to learn how to possibly increase your revenue. For my department, I oversee employee benefits and health plan options, of course. We have a whole page for FFM resources for your individuals, group health resources, which we get a lot of traction on just because it's a page that you can go to, that you can see all of our carriers, all of the things that you need to write a group, quote a group, etc. If you do not do your group health with URL, I would ask that you give me a call because if you look at your handout, and I'll bring this up, we have a lot of services that I think go above and beyond, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Not only, if you do your group health with us, not only do you get access to the HR 360, but of course your clients do as well. We offer complimentary wrap, SPD creations, POP documents, benefit notices specific to your group size, COBRA services for groups of 20 more, and that's complimentary up to $100. And, our Ben admin systems, obviously that's something that a lot of groups and agent partners are tapping into. Offboarding services, this is something that you might want to hire us to help you with. If you have a lot of folks that you're trying to service and there's a lot of turnover, we offer through our admin center offboarding services that we do this for several large groups, and it's been very successful for our group clients as well as the folks that are offboarding. Of course, every business owner has, or every business has a business owner, correct? So executive benefits, business overhead expense, buy-sell policies, and of course, all of the employee health benefits, employer-sponsored health benefits. So I know I went through that very quickly, but the point is I really encourage you to reach out to me. Let me talk to you about what we offer, and if there's a fit, I would absolutely welcome you into the URL family. So obviously we're here for other reasons other than excuse me for a second, let me get out of that, other than to talk about what we do. And you know, we're here to learn more about the reduced rates and the exciting news from Highmark. So right now, excuse me while I go through these screens, I'm going to hand the screen over to Kerri McKeown. She is the Director of Sales and Client Manager for both NEPA and Central Pennsylvania. And first, you're going to hear from Kareem Corbin. He is, excuse me for a second, he is the Vice President of Sales, and he's going to start the program talking a little bit about what we're here to learn, the exciting news. So Kareem, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us, Deb, and excited to announce the rate reduction here. So we'll go ahead and get started. So hi, everybody. As Deb mentioned, my name is Kareem Corbin. I'm the Regional Vice President for the Small Group Market at Highmark. And I want to thank everybody on the phone today for joining us, and thank URL and Deb for giving us the opportunity to touch base with you all about this exciting news. Also attending today's presentation from Highmark, Deb did mention, it's Kerri McKeown, and Kerri is the Director of Sales and Retention for the Central Pennsylvania and NEPA markets, and also on the line, Stephanie Dobson, who is our Sales Executive in the Central Pennsylvania region, and Jeff Cooper, who's the Client Manager for URL. So, as we've kind of told you, and you probably have heard a little bit about this already, if you started quoting our business effective for July 1 of 2018, we are happy to announce that our small group ACA rates in the 21 counties of Central Pennsylvania have been granted a reduction in rates by the Pennsylvania Insurance Department. So we currently have our new business rates out there for July through September effective dates, and renewal rates available for clients renewing in July and August. In either case, the reduced rates for the small group ACA products and benefits have been reduced, and the rates are reflected in that reduction. Some of you have heard me before talk about how, you know, in the past we were not competitive in the small group ACA space, and that we were not going to artificially reduce our rates or chase down the competitor just to gain some market share. Now we are in a position where we're able to offer reduced rates and take on more small group membership. And Kerri is going to walk you through the particulars of the rate reduction over the next few slides. As you may see some differences by rating region, so we're going to go ahead and give you a thorough overview of each rating region and the reduced rates. So Kerri, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Kareem, and thanks Deb and URL for giving us the opportunity to talk with all of you today. And as Kareem mentioned, I do first want to give a refresher on the rating regions themselves. There are 9 of them across the state of Pennsylvania, but 3 centered just in the 21 counties of Central Pennsylvania. And it is important to call attention to them, as the reductions will apply differently across each of those rating regions. And you'll start to see that in some of the upcoming slides here as we move forward. Rating region 6 spans the top half of the region. You see in that first shade of blue. Rating region 7 is more the southeast portion of the central region. And then rating region 9 spans southwest and central part of the central PA region. So just giving you a visual here, First, looking at rating region 6, which is, Lehigh County and other surrounding counties, we compared our Lehigh Valley Flex Blue PPO 500 option with our competitor's closest Gold PPO 500 plan option, and we're seeing about an 11% difference. Now, I recognize that is not an apples-to-apples comparison, so we did that as well. And looking at the PPO versus the PPO in the same deductible level, we're seeing a 4% reduction in that particular rating region. So definitely a good opportunity for any clients looking for maybe a high and low option. And if they are headquartered in those counties, that is available there for them. Moving on to both rating regions 7 and 9, we looked at a $1,000 deductible plan for both comparisons. So using our Premier Balance PPO 1000 versus the Gold PPO 1000 plan from our closest competitor, we're seeing anywhere from a 7 to 13% better price point on the Highmark side. Now, of course, these numbers can fluctuate by client depending on the makeup of the client, the specific plan options or metal level selected, things like that. But as you can see from the slide, we are most competitive in that rating region 9, so Dauphin and surrounding counties. It's actually been the case. We have been more competitive in those counties since the initial rate filings were approved for 2018 back in November of 2017. However, with this new reduction, we're actually seeing that reduction increase to double digits in most scenarios. So we wanted to give you a visual of that. So moving on, one of the main things that we hear whenever we meet with producers in the field is that we're frequently asked for information on our most popular product options. So I thought it might be helpful to list them out for you. One of the main things that all of these plan options have in common is that they're a 100% coinsurance plans, meaning the members don't pay any coinsurance after the deductibles are met. Of course, co-pays and things like that are still applicable to certain benefits, but the design themselves feel richer in nature without having that coinsurance component. The majority of our membership right now falls in Gold level plans, followed respectively by Silver, Platinum, and Bronze level options. And so just kind of looking at the presentation, the top 5 plans are the Premier Balance PPO 500, the Premier Balance PPO 1000, Premier Balance PPO 1500, Premier Balance PPO 0 Platinum, and then the Premier Balance PPO 0 Gold. So reduced rating is really part 1 of the story that we wanted to communicate to everybody today, but there is a part 2, and I'm happy Kareem allowed me to introduce it, so I'm thankful for that because I like to deliver good news. But coupled with the reduced rating, we wanted to run a producer bonus program to both help generate some interest in the reduced rates and thank you as well for your efforts in selling some new small group business with us. So beginning with effective dates of July 1st and running through December 1st, we're running a bonus program that applies to every new small group that is sold. For groups that have 2 to 9 enrolled contracts, the bonus is $150 per group. And for groups that have 10 to 50 enrolled contracts, the bonus is $300 per group. So I just want to clarify that this bonus program applies to true small groups defined as having 50 or fewer total employees. One of the questions we frequently get asked is, employers that have maybe more than 50 total employees but less than 50 enrolling, if they would be eligible. They, in our definition, are considered mid-market clients and are not included in this bonus program. The bonus program also only applies to new small group ACA business. Any existing business that transitions from a grandmothered policy, for example, over to an ACA policy is not included. However, if you do have a client that only has ancillary business with us and wants to add medical coverage, if they choose a small group ACA policy, that would be included in the bonus payout. So the bonus itself will be paid to the agency URL on a quarterly basis, and there is an 80-20 split with at least 80% of that bonus going to the writing producer. And the program itself assumes that any business that is written will remain intact for a full contract year. So if for some reason it terminates mid-year or something like that, we would reserve the right to recoup any bonus payments. So any questions on the bonus? I don't know if we have the ability, Deb, I apologize, I didn't ask in advance, but if we have the ability to ask questions, maybe now is the opportunity to do so before I turn it back over to Kareem to talk about 2019.
Yeah, absolutely. And I forgot to mention that this webinar is being recorded, so everyone that registered and is on this webinar will receive the recorded version. If you want to ask questions, of course, you can do that in one of two ways. You can raise your hand icon in your control panel to the right of your screen, or you can type in the question in the question box. So if you do have questions now, go ahead and do that. I'll see if, well, no questions and no hands. So it looks like, here's a question. It was mentioning the 80-20 split. Yes, that is within the bonus program. 80% of that bonus goes to our writing agent partners, and then 20% remains with URL. Any other questions? It's good to see that the world hasn't changed, that dollars really gets everyone excited, whether you're saving dollars for your clients or making a few dollars for yourself. So that's why we love bonuses around here. They truly do incentivize. Okay, well, doesn't look like we have any questions, so take it away, Kerri and Kareem.
Okay. So thanks, Deb. I'll just kind of mention some things that are on the horizon for small group in 2019. You know, there's three dominant topics that we continue to have dialogue on, both internally and externally: association health plans, grandmothering policies, which, you know, did get extended another year, which is great news, and then our evolving provider partnerships. To kick it off, first talking about association health plans, the DOL proposed a rule in January of 2018 that expanded the size and scope of association health plans, otherwise referred to as AHPs. The new rule basically permits unrelated small employers to aggregate and be rated as large groups. When proposed regulations are released, various stakeholders within the industry provide commentary back to regulators in an effort to help shape and mold the final legislation. Highmark obviously provided comments on that through the AHIP and Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association to provide comments about our stance and on the AHPs going forward on the proposed regulations. So the final rules are still pending. We submitted those comments March of 2018. We're expecting to hear something in the latter part of 2018. An effective date for AHPs is still yet to be determined and will be defined by the final rules. So, you know, internally and externally, we've been talking with various associations and partners about association health plans, when they may be effective, how they will look. We're not sure about all the different parameters, but we are preparing ourselves as best as possible, given the fact that they indeed are coming back. We just don't know when and how they will look. Moving on to pre-ACA grandmother policies. As I mentioned earlier, we have great news, and I'm sure you've all have heard about it. We received another extension of these grandmothering policies on April 9th. So we're pleased to announce that your grandmother clients, including those renewing in the third and fourth quarter, will continue to receive their grandmother renewal offers. Just like previous years, extensions have indicated that customers enrolled in these policies must transition to an ACA compliant policy by a certain date. So the most recent extension does have very similar language that the clients must transition by January 1, 2020. However, you know, just like we've been through the last 5 years, almost 5 years, future regulatory changes and whether or not another extension will be granted. Our plan is always to advocate for an extension, just like we have done in the past, and feel that these groups like these policies and the rating methodologies that are provided through the grandmother policies, transitional relief. So we will still advocate on the extension. And if for some reason the extension is not granted, then we'll have to transition these clients, like I said, January 1 of 2020. Lastly, it's very important to highlight our evolving provider partnerships, specifically those in the Central Pennsylvania region, Lehigh Valley Health Network and Penn State Health. As we went through a couple slides earlier, price is extremely important. However, what's more important is what Highmark is hoping to achieve with our various provider partners. We're moving from a volume-based model to a more of a value-focused healthcare model, and to collaborate with providers who deliver cost-efficient, high-quality care and better patient experience. As indicated on the previous slide, our Lehigh Valley Flex Blue product is actually, now with the rate reduction, is priced competitively in that region, in the Lehigh County region. And whenever you look at your groups and prospects in that county, a dual option is a perfect fit for those clients. Maybe some folks would like a Lehigh Valley product. You can pair that up with a regular PPO as well. So those are different types of plan options and arrangements that you can offer to your clients in the Lehigh County region. So that kind of concludes my comments on 2019. I will say stay tuned. We don't know when the final regulations on AHP will be actually given to us. We hope by late summer, maybe by fall of 2018, but you just never know how fast or how slow it's going to be whenever they had a lot of comments that they had to get through and move it on to different lines of the government. So stay tuned on that, and that kind of concludes my comments and our comments for the webinar.
Okay.
So any questions?
Let's see. You guys want to formulate your questions, please do so now while they are on the horn, while they're here waiting anxiously to answer your questions. Doesn't seem like we have any. Of course, I just have a quick comment. We're really happy, obviously, about the rate reductions. We do expect a lot of transition within the market, especially for the 12-1s and 1-1s. Please know that we are well-staffed, well-trained, and we have a plan of action in place to make sure that that experience, that god-awful fourth quarter experience, is at least the best it can be under the circumstances. So, just keep quoting and, reach out to us for any support that you need. There is a question here. Let's get that up. Scott says that he's intrigued to see the best-selling products in 2018 being such low deductible plans. Do you have any comments on that? Certainly, nationally, the trend is a much higher deductible than the thousands. Do you anticipate any changes?
Yeah, no, it surprises us as well. We would like a higher deductible to lead the way there. Unfortunately, or fortunately, that the top 5 plans that we've been selling have been 2 $0 deductibles and a 500. Some of the $0 plans, at least one of them at least, has some built-in different type of co-payment arrangements depending on the services. But yeah, we as a carrier, like the consumerism kind of angle with a higher deductible, but that seems to be what has been selling across our footprint, both in central NEPA and western Pennsylvania. Historically speaking, though, central Pennsylvania has been more geared to the 1,000 and above deductible type of option, so it's a little surprising to us as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, now that the rates are reduced, to see if that changes. It's really there's really no impetus to make that happen. If they're satisfied with the rates and 1,000 or zero deductible now, then they should be doubly excited with the reduced rates. We do have a couple more questions. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nope. No, I was just agreeing with you.
So there is a question. Is the bonus only through URL, or is this a Highmark driven program and offered also to brokers who go direct or have go through another preferred? And this is not exclusive to URL, Kim. So it is through all preferreds, correct?
That is correct.
Nancy is asking, since Kerri, you are wearing 2 hats for Central and NEPA, Nancy is asking what you feel the top selling plans for NEPA are. Is that an easy question to answer for you right now?
It sure is. It sure is. So we actually, if you're familiar with the NEPA products, and I apologize, it's Nancy. Where is Nancy from?
She's up in, she's from AIM Insurance Solutions.
Oh, perfect.
She's up in, yeah, NEPA territory.
Yep. So if you're familiar with our custom PPO plan, our custom PPO Gold 24 option is our top selling option. And our PPO Platinum and custom PPO Platinum 2. So I can get details for you out on those plan options if you're interested.
Yeah, she's really located at in Center County.
Okay.
So of course that's the split between NEPA and West.
Right. Or between Central and West. Right. Sure.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay. But what you will notice, so there is a little bit of a difference, though. Whoever just mentioned the interest in seeing the lower deductibles in Central, the Gold 24 custom PPO and PPO options are a little bit higher of a deductible. They're a $2,000 deductible, but the difference between kind of the standard options that we offer is that the Gold 24 is a one-time deductible versus the 2-time or family option.
Okay. Well, if you want to send that information to me, Kerri, I will certainly pass that on to Nancy. She does a lot of business in Clinton County, so that's certainly an area of interest for you.
Absolutely. I'll send them over to you, Deb.
Perfect. Any other questions from anybody? Doesn't look that way. All right, well, once again, I thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you found it as exciting as I did. We're so excited to be able to offer these programs, the bonus program that Highmark is offering in conjunction with our Gemini bonus program and all the other incentives. So happy to do that. Let's get quoting. Let's get through this fourth quarter together. And as always, I thank Kareem and Kerri and Stephanie for the Highmark partnership. It's an important partnership for us, and I appreciate your time today in educating our broker partners.
Thank you, Deb. We appreciate your time and all the time that the producers gave us today as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.